You know what? The earlier match that I was casting with James with Stromboli, I thought that it all came down to J-Pow, who switched it up. I think they're going to go down 2 goals, and then they're going to win in a reverse sweep because J-Pow is going to pop off with a solo goal, and that's how they're going to take it. 3-2 Stromboli.
This is the most complex prediction segment I've ever been a part of. I'm going to fade out of here. Shogun, Turtle, you guys can take the rest. I'm out. Have fun.
Look, Turtle, we have seen far too many analysts in this world very happy to sit on the fence. We are not doing that. We have created thrones either side of it and are staring each other down with these predictions.
We don't have our normal picks, and my dog is actually attacking me right now. So
is he having a good time? Who's he got? Who's he got?
I don't know. I'm asking him. I'm trying to figure out who he has, but I think he's going Charlotte. Honestly, the man's is a smart doggo. He's got 400 IQ. I think he's going Charlotte.
Well, we are going to be getting into game 1 very shortly. The winner of this is going to be taking on Omelette for an opportunity to qualify for our main event and take on NRG in the first round of the group stage. As we have got underway, Dapper, my boy, going to be scoring those 4 hat tricks.
I thought you said 3 hat tricks.
No, I upped it to 4.
Okay?
The other one didn't sound realistic enough.
Oh yeah. Now that we've got 4 hat tricks, that's definitely possible. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I feel like with 3, I didn't sound convinced enough, did I?
Well, just wait, because J-Pow, I told you, he's gonna pop off. They're gonna go down 2 games, and then J-Pow's gonna get this nutty redirect solo play, and it's all gonna change from there.
Well, right now, both teams just trying to trade, see who can take hold of possession. And there is not going to be a Dapper on the field for the time being. Karma and Shadow forced to cover for him whilst he respawns. And this right now, Charlotte Phoenix really stuck. Haven't been able to get out for quite a while. 12 boosts for Karma to try and make that so, especially as, well, another demo is going to remove Dapper yet again.
They heard your strategy.
I'm going to struggle if he's not on the field long enough to get these 4 hat tricks.
Oh no, he's going to get demoed again. He almost got demoed. There was an attempt on Dapper. So he's really in the hot seat right now. Everybody wants to get this man off the field. I think they heard your prediction. They knew that he was going to pop off, so they're just going to try and
he's not even
take him out.
He's not even got like a long name either that you can see like across the field. It's just Dap. Perfectly fine. Shadow still trying to help Charlotte Phoenix, still stuck here, as they have been for a long time. You can already see Araz already taking the other corner boost, means that they can lock down even further. Here's going to be his chance to take a shot. Only Shadow left on the board, and he's not going to be able to get there. Huge amount of pressure coming out, and Stromboli finally break the defense down.
Yeah, we're just a minute and a half in here, and you can already see all those shots on net, forcing the defense to make a save, dive at everything, and you can see Shadow even in net. Had pretty much no choice. He had to go for that initial touch, try to get a save, and then bail back in. Didn't have the rotation in time, and things just collapsed. And now the pressure's still mounting. J-Pow, my boy. I might have said they go down 0-2, but I still think J-Pow's going to pop off, so, I have one prediction.
Maybe he's just got the mentality of make sure you play like you're losing.
Yes, that's right.
That's what he's doing.
Exactly what I meant. That's what I meant, 100%.
They are now up by 2. First one took a lot of pressure over a sustained period of time to get the goal past Charlotte Phoenix. This one around a little bit more out of nowhere. They are going to take it. Karma wants an option, but Dapper is just being bullied on the field. Leave the poor lad alone.
Dude, I swear they heard you. I think Stromboli, they were like, oh no. Shogun has spoken. The mage of Rocket League. The man who can predict it all.
Listen, I do have the wizard hat behind me, but right now, I don't think I can conjure up a goal for them, let alone a car for Dapper to use, although he's going to get his chance to one. Then scrambles away before anyone can spot him. Huge block. Dapper looks to move it across. Great pass! His Shadow's blocked it himself. Karma now stuck on her own. It's going to be 2v1. Karma avoids being hit first time around. She's going to cover, but my goodness, that should have been one back.
Shadow went for the demo on the player. He didn't take out the goalkeeper. He got a bump, but they both ricocheted back, and then Shadow got the save. So, such an unfortunate play if you're at least Charlotte Phoenix. I mean, this has been so brutal for everybody on Charlotte Phoenix. They get scored on right away in this series. All the pressure is against them. And then on top of that, they save their own shot. Things are looking really poor for them.
You gotta imagine the game that Dapper has had so far. He's been demoed 4 times. And the one shot he has had gets saved by his teammate unintentionally. It's not been a fun time for him so far. We still have time to try and rectify this. J-Pal over to Alpha Cap off the backboard again. Now infield pass to Araz. What a play that is! Off the post. Should have been 3-0. Dapper onto the ball again. Over to the corner, but it's going to be difficult to follow up. Very fleeting attempts so far from Charlotte Phoenix. They have not been able to mount any sort of control over the midfield.
Yeah, they're struggling to get it out of their own half, honestly, because the more they push out, they just get challenged with a fantastic clear from somebody from Stromboli where they're finding a teammate across the net or either in the midfield. This is something that I've been lurking and talking about really for most teams when it comes down to keeping possession. It's how you position yourself with those clears. And for Stromboli, they're doing it wonderfully. And the Doomsday Dish maybe for Alraz, he almost gets the dunk, but it wasn't enough.
Karma can get there. 0 boost. Only 40 seconds on the clock. 3 goals down now. That should be game 1 done. Stromboli have coasted in this one, and they have been absolutely ruthless with the chances they have had.
Oh, and they done it with my boy J-Pal. That's what I was talking about.
He's got the hat trick. Maybe
right.
We're switching predictions here.
I had the player right, and you had the hat trick right. So
it's going to be Charlotte Phoenix down by 2, where Dapper suddenly starts popping up.
I mean, I'm down. Then we'd at least both get some credit here.
I'll tell you what, if either of those predictions ever came true, it would put a lot to shame. Although I don't think anyone is going to ever out-predict a lot and what he did.
That's true. Nobody can ever. Oh, and that was on the previous Beyond the Summit event as well, whenever a lot predicted that was
if anyone out there hearing us has not seen that, just go and find it. You will be ever so happy that you did. A lot able to predict the exact second of a goal that was going to go in. And he did it about 1.5 minutes before it even happened. Dapper finally on the board. Too little too late here for Charlotte Phoenix, but just a little bit of a consolation at the end of this one.
I mean, at least he's on the field to get the shot. You know, he wasn't demoed, so that's already a plus sign for your boy Dap. As we do get a game pause here. As I think somebody actually DC'd. I think it was Alpha Cap who DC'd. So we're going to try and get him back into the lobby here for the end of this game. But so far, Stromboli, they were dominant. The possession, the pressure, you can't, what are you going to do against them? I don't even know at this point for Charlotte Phoenix. They just couldn't break out of their own half. I
mean, at this point, the way they've been playing, you kind of have to take off ball cam a little bit more. Make sure you're looking left and right, you know, because they could be coming from anywhere trying to get those hits on you. And it's one of those typical things. We were talking about it earlier on about how just playing outside of the norm forces defenders to do things that they don't want to do. A defender at the core just wants to sit there with ball cam on, wait for the ball to hit the floor, and then just half volley it straight away. And that's the safest play you can possibly go for defensively. But when you've got players going for redirects, when you've got players going for demos, it forces extra steps into just doing that because you've got to check around. Who's around? Is anyone able to take the ball? Is anyone able to take me out? It becomes very dangerous, and that is something that we have seen Stromboli do incredibly well. But I think what I've been more impressed with is how well that midfield has been locked down, because we've seen Charlotte Phoenix, they've had a little bit of possession of their back 2 boost, but we've got 4 100 boosts on the field that belong to Stromboli.
Definitely, and that means they can keep rotating into the midfield and turn and keep that possession forward. So it's really going to come down to, I think, backboard defense and how, like I talked about, Charlotte decided to carry the ball towards the midfield area. I haven't seen too much dribbling, which is interesting. So Dapper's, you know, he's coming from a team where I think Sathu, for the most part, on Sonics, really would always dribble out. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment for him, because I think Shadow and Karma are definitely 2 players who are at least more reliant on just kind of initially booming the ball as my dog keeps trying to attack me. It feels like they just kind of panic a bit more. So I'd like to see one of those 2 players, maybe even Dapper himself, take it upon himself to dribble out and stall time. Somebody's got to waste time whenever you're getting starved out like this.
Well, you give that doggo a quick pet. I feel like I have to agree with you quite a bit here. It's been very weird because everyone that has looked at Dapper and has followed him for the longest time expects him, well, he's a ones player. Surely he's the one that dribbles it. But across his entire career, he has never taken up that role. He has always been very quick to clear the ball long. And that is something that very much fits in with the mentality of Charlotte Phoenix, the way they'd like to play it, because they have typically very much like to go for those passing plays. They want to work the ball out across as a team. But when you have stuck every single player that you've got on that backboard in your goal, you can't get those passes going anymore because you've got nobody to aim for. Instead, you just have to launch long or try and go for a dribble. And as we've already mentioned, this is a team that doesn't typically like to focus on dribbling. Almost something I would like to see more, actually, is Shadow using some more of his mechanics and take the ball up into the air, force a midfield challenge, and now give his team just a little bit of time to breathe.
And that's something that Omelette were doing really well last series, was they would get a little touch on their own end, take the ball up the wall, and that way, you know, you're not necessarily dribbling it per se, but you can take it in the air and then go for a 50. That also does a great job of stalling for your teammates to get some boost, maybe collect some pads, and then push forward. So if you can't find a teammate on the other side of the pitch to clear it to, take it up the wall, make sure you're not predictable, go for a 50, and in that way, you'll stall it a lot of time. As I think Alpha Kep, we have gotten word, that he is on his way back, so hopefully we'll get into this game shortly. And yeah, I think that Charlotte Phoenix, while there's only 3 seconds on the clock, they've got, you know, definitely their work cut out for them, but they have a chance to get back in here for sure. It's just the first game.
Yeah, we've just already seen how little the first game can sort of apply to the rest of the series. Yeah. We're just sort of analyzing what is a very short bubble of gameplay. But it has been very interesting so far, and it has been one of the more dominant short bubbles of gameplay that we have ever had the chance to see, as we do rejoin to just formally play out the final 3 seconds. No real surprise as to who is going to be taking this win. Stromboli will finish it off.
And a great performance from them all throughout this game. They didn't let up really at all. They had confidence the entire way through.
They were forced to for a moment or two there.
Yeah. But then I think back to that J-Pal, I think it was the 3rd goal, where he had gotten the dunk on, I believe it was, like Karma in the wall. Anyway, somebody from Charlotte Phoenix had basically propped the ball up, and you saw J-Pal go in for this insane dunk where he wouldn't have gone for it if he didn't have confidence, if he wasn't feeling prepared and knowing that he's going to win that 50-50, or at least have a chance. So it's plays like that where these players can push themselves forward and throw themselves at the ball with confidence that really helps elevate that play style to the next level.
And you get the feeling that out of the 2 teams that wanted to have these sort of issues at the moment, it's actually Stromboli that wanted them less. I think even specifically J-Pal wanted it less because he has been just outstanding in the opening 5 minutes. He was everywhere he needed to be. He's won almost every challenge he's been a part of. Just a maestro on the field.
Oh, yeah. And he's the guy who, you know, I thought was going to pop off, you know, maybe in game 3. But I'm still happy to see him do it here because he was the guy who seemed to change pretty much the tide of things. I thought that whenever he would go for solo plays or at least be confident in his play, that's when he would ascend to the top. If his teammates would let him go up top, do his thing, be aggressive, play on offense the most, that's whenever it feels like Stromboli have really hit their stride.
So if you're looking across the other side of the field, and you've obviously talked just there about, you know, when you feel like Stromboli are hitting their stride the most, what do you feel like we see? What is like a key 1 or 2 points that we see from Charlotte Phoenix when they're playing at their best?
It's Dapper demoing 100%. If Dapper's going for bumps, that's how you know they're in their element. Dapper's going for bumps, and then Karma and Shadow are passing nonstop in the midfield across the net. It's that formula that really helps Charlotte Phoenix become, you know, a top team, because Dapper is feeding into a lot of these areas where he can go for bumps, do that extra bit to open up space for Karma and Shadow to do their thing, because those 2 players are very mechanical.
So we are going to be able to get going again very shortly. Just testing out a couple of new servers to try and get us underway. Obviously, we want Alpha Kep to feel as comfortable as he possibly can. But once we have got everything ready to go, we will be back in it. For the time being, though, the story is as followed. Stromboli up by 1, looking very comfortable in game number 1, and waiting for whoever does win this series is going to be Omelette, the former Mirage, if you have not been able to keep up to date with those sort of moves. And they are in the losers finals, already making it through earlier on today. Was their... Oh, I've managed to forget names.
Plot twist.
Save me.
Plot twist.
Plot twist. There we go. I've managed to blank on names, as I always seem to do. But Plot twist was able to get through in a very entertaining qualifier game. If you do get a chance to go and check that one out, I do highly recommend it.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Very scrappy. If you think demos were happening in that last game, you saw absolutely nothing. There was demos galore in that one.
Yeah, and we heard Mektos and Sosa even in the after-game interview where they said that, I think it was Sosa said that he thought Charlotte was going to come away with this win. Meanwhile, Mektos went on the side of Stromboli because he believes in his boy Alpha Kep. Yesterday, if you had watched any of basically the Summer Shuffle, you would notice that Alpha Kep is a monster on defense. Meanwhile, on the other side, you heard Sosa say that everybody on Charlotte Phoenix is pretty much a mechanical legend. We've got Karma, Shadow, Dap. So this like we talked about, this is going to be a close series no matter what. I think that the more we get into this, it's just going to come down to that line. And maybe we'll see Dapper with that 4 hat tricks, you know, I believe.
We've still got enough games for it. Maybe after this one, I will consider backing down on my stance. But until then, we have still got a series left to play. And as we did mention earlier on, the first game can be very difficult to tell as to how the rest of it is going to look, but it does seem like the players are happy with the new server, and we should be able to jump into this once all the players are in. How much of a big difference do you think that little pause is going to make, and which team do you think is going to make the most difference and the most changes between the two?
You definitely got to go with Charlotte Phoenix, and that's got to be a benefit for them, even though the issues were residing on Stromboli. That's unfortunate because they had all that momentum. 100% whenever you're a player and you get that first game, it's huge to go into that second one with full confidence. But now, Charlotte Phoenix have had time to reset, get their brains a little bit more associated to the way that Stromboli are playing, and try to adapt.
I think Dapper just got demo to open this up.
Oh, no, not a repeat.
Yeah, we're right back to where we were, and we are also right back to Stromboli putting that pressure on at the start of the game. J-Pow wants the attempted demo. Dapper will clear, and he's happy just to not get hit.
He's not even talking trash in the game. Like, they just want to only demo him. It's just Dapper. He didn't do anything. He's super nice, a nice guy. I know him. You know, it's not going to hurt a fly. Meanwhile, he's just the one getting demoed nonstop.
Karma over on the wall. J-Pow dives in, but makes me look a little bit foolish. Alras will cover. Shadow does have Karma available. Instead, Karma's going to come in. Shadow removed from the field. Doesn't matter. Karma can go solo, and Karma can put a team up by 1.
Oh, and it's all about that first touch. Look at that. Karma bangs it to the corner, waits to react, and slows her card down so that she can save the angle, save her boost to get that adjustment on the ball, strike it towards the net. And like I said, it's all about that initial setup. She noticed that nobody was in the corner, and that's why she fed it in there. A beautiful play from Karma, the recognition of space, and they go up 1-0. Charlotte Phoenix are back.
Into the midfield. Dapper, not the greatest first touch. Can't recover it before Alras will take it over. And now we quickly go to the other side of the field. Good infield pass. Dapper scrambles the ball away before the shot happens. Now Charlotte Phoenix have got everyone back. It's going to make them harder to beat. They are going to be happy to see that they have cleared it a little bit more cleanly this time around. Start pinging the ball around the field if they want to be up to their usual selves in terms of offensive prowess. Another demo. This time not on Dapper. He'll be at least somewhat happy to see that one. Shadow. Good challenge. Over to Karma. Doesn't make it 2. What a save.
And that was Alpha Cap again. The man is a monster in net. Anytime he's situated towards close at least to the net, he's just going to get that save. There's no denying that Alpha Cap. Mans is a goalkeeper out here. So it all comes down to breaking the defense a bit and finding that opening. And it worked out before where Karma set herself up. Let's see if we'll get another solo play out of Charlotte.
Where is he, J-Pow? Just going downfield, seeing if he can rough up the defense a little bit. Doesn't get anything this time around. Strategy has very much been the same from Stromboli, just haven't got the same results. This time around, Charlotte Phoenix doing a much better job of avoiding them. Shadow, very even challenge. It's going to be up to who comes first. Alpha to Alras. Shot not good enough. Might have been better off putting that back to Alpha Cap. Was available for the 1-2. Dapper plays the ball off, and now it's suddenly a quick turnaround. Dapper can't make it.
And we're looking at Alras. Look at this play from my boy Alras to go in for the 50. He actually denied both players in the midfield to turn that possession around. J-Pow, then an easy strike for him, but that's all thanks to Alras being aggressive in the midfield.
Just feels to me like Charlotte Phoenix got a little bit too cute with the midfield. Didn't really check where the dangers were.
Well, it feels like they want to pass so badly, which is something that, you know, all throughout the rival series, even on previous rosters, it's usually just anybody who's paired up with Karma. They are always very pass-orientated. So it's natural to see them be very desperate for those midfield passes, but whenever you get a little bit too predictable, like we just saw there, it can be so punishing.
All clear long. Dapper, the last person back. More than comfortable. Would have liked to hit the ball to Shadow. Instead, Karma will take over. Might have the passing opportunity. It's back over to Dapper. Alras takes the ball first. Now Shadow does well to put himself into the corner because he was avoiding another demo attempt. Alpha kept still hunting, and that is
Oh,
a dangerous
my goodness.
save. Alraz will follow it up. 2-1 to Stromboli.
Can we just appreciate the save from Dap, though? It was a tough angle. He didn't expect the pinch out. He had to flip his car ever so slightly to get that save off the crossbar. Unfortunately, it did go back down, and the pressure was mounting from Stromboli. Something was going to break. But what an effort from Dapper. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
Stromboli have been so quick just to launch players at the Sonnet. I mean, at Charlotte Phoenix. Right now, getting a little bit more for it than they were earlier on. Drops to the midfield. Karma wins the challenge, taking 2 players out. Dapper clattering into J-Pow. 0 boost for Dapper means he is forced back. Coming in, Shadow wins the challenge. Ball into the back of the net. Simple as you like for Charlotte Phoenix. But hey, no complaints.
And he got a little bit fortunate with the way Alpha Cap approached. Alpha Cap misread the wall bounce. He thought it wasn't going to go directly down or even have an angle to where it would go anywhere towards the bottom half of the field. So he had to redirect and readjust his boost so he just fly all the way from the top side of the ball. And then you could see that Shadow just basically forced it in off of that horrible challenge. So kudos to Shadow being there and being in position, but definitely a fortunate goal.
A huge 40 seconds now. Charlotte Phoenix do not want to lose this, otherwise they've got to reverse sweep Stromboli to keep themselves in the tournament. It's off the backboard. Oh my goodness, Alraz! You beast! What a setup!
From the corner, he falls on it and then manages to get the double tap off the post. Alraz. I didn't even see that or understand at first what happened because the ball did some ping-ponging in the corner, but for him to have the reaction time to still follow that up, the man is insane.
Now Charlotte Phoenix in a game that they've looked better in, trailing with 30 seconds left. They have got to move players forward. They've got to try and see if they can find a way past this Stromboli defense. Now they've got to get away from their own side of the field. Shadow over to the corner. J-Pow will leave it for Alpha Cap. Karma wants a challenge, but just danced around. Alraz just going to take the ball up. He is wasting as much time
5 seconds
as he possibly can with that play. Shadow has got Dapper available.
Oh, maybe?
Decides to take it low, but they needed that ball popped up. Stromboli up 2 games to nothing.
And Shadow tried to force it to the wall, kind of like that Fireburner pinch play, Shogun, that I'm sure you know all too well, to keep that ball up. Maybe get a nice little bounce, but it just stayed on the ground. And Stromboli now, I'm so surprised. I thought Charlotte Phoenix for sure were going to bounce back. They have been on a tear, and that's thanks to Alraz, that solo play to set up his teammates to get that swing goal. What a performance from him.
Yeah, Alraz just out-muscling everyone on the offensive side. Alpha Cap on the other side. And I mean, just take a look at the saves. My goodness, he's
insane.
So on point with his reactions. You've got to basically catch him either out of position or you're not getting the ball past him at all.
Right, and for basically everybody on Stromboli, they all decided to step up, each of them getting a goal to their name. J-Pow, he stepped up last game. Today he was a little bit, or excuse me, not today. This game he was a little bit more of that filler role where he'd kind of clean up. Alpha kept with the saves and Alraz with the solo plays. It's so hard to stop these guys because even when Charlotte Phoenix do have those fortunate plays where they can at least put a couple on the board, it's not enough to go against a 3-headed beast, Shogun.
Absolutely not. So, a reverse sweep required for Charlotte Phoenix, otherwise they are out at this late stage of the qualification, and it will be Stromboli heading on to take on Omelette in the losers finals, trying to book their spot in Summer Shuffle main event. I think there has definitely been much more to be happy with, though, out of that last performance from Charlotte Phoenix than they would have been coming out of Game 1.
Yeah, and the winner of this will actually go on to, like you said, fight for a spot in the main event. And if they do end up grabbing at least that group spot, they're going to go up against NRG. So I'm curious, Shogun, who do you think out of these two teams, respectively, would have the best chance against NRG?
I feel like from what I've seen so far, it would probably be Stromboli. Get the feeling that if Charlotte Phoenix have struggled with being pegged back to their side of the field as much as they have been here, NRG would do a much better job of it, punishing those. Stromboli happier and maybe a bit stronger from what we've seen with those challenges. Might be able to escape.
Definitely.
Alraz gets the reset. No, actually. over-rotated, but he has thrown the Charlotte Phoenix defense off. Dapper wants to continue off his first touch, but instead it's over to Alraz again. He has a second opportunity for a flip reset. Does manage it, but Karma will keep the ball away. This is very much looking like game one. Charlotte Phoenix just have no chance of escaping their side of the field. It took some creativity to do it, but they have been broken down.
And I might have predicted J-Pow at the beginning of this series, before we got into it, to be the player to pop off, but it has been all Alraz in the corners. He has been dominant. Not only is he going to take it up himself, he can follow up, win out of 50-50, and then get the ball in front of his net. He has the ability to beat out an opponent, which is everything for this team right now. Stromboli really on the backs of Alraz.
Alraz, and it just seems like whenever he's got the ball, he is very capable of doing some damage, although that is a huge mistake from Stromboli. Off the backboard and no follow-up. That was a major chance to start putting that pressure on. Charlotte Phoenix had nobody around to keep it going.
Oh, nice
to try and do something this time around. Shadow might be able to follow instead. Leaves it for Dapper. That is a great shot. Charlotte Phoenix back in.
And it started with Dapper with that flick out from the defense. See what we were talking about earlier on, Shogun? The dribbles. We wanted to see Charlotte Phoenix work on those clears. We expected somebody to step up, go for those dribbles out of their own defensive end. That's what Dapper did. It set up then a play for Shadow to go back to Dap. Beautiful give and go. That all stemmed from a dribble. Charlotte Phoenix, maybe they have a chance here to get some momentum.
Certainly need it. A long road to go. Not only having to get past this, but also have to get past Omelette in the next round. Shadow takes his time, might actually give a Karma an opportunity off the crossbar, and there is no Dapper follow. He was around, but I don't quite know what his boost situation was looking like. Still, good pressure being put on from Charlotte Phoenix. Dapper now on nothing. Leaves Shadow to come in. He gets the reset. He gets the dunk. And he is very unfortunate to not see a goal to his name for it. Great play. Almost in.
That's what they needed. They needed some form of a goal that would give them just so much energy. There's one thing to get, you know, a nice, clean-looking passing play, but another to get a solo effort from Shadow with a flip reset involved, so many different mechanics being pushed. That would have just given a surge of energy for Charlotte, but they don't get it. And now they're still tied up here with 2 minutes left. These guys have got to put something on, or else they're going to go home against Stromboli.
Dapper can't get it past Alraz. That corner has just been dominated by Alraz all series long. Does bump into his own teammate. I'm sure he was just trying to lay claim to Alraz's territory. Shadow clears. And he's straight back over to J-Pow and Alpha Cap. Immediately transition it back into this side of the field. Charlotte Phoenix need to be more creative with that in the future if they want to escape. Because look at how quick Stromboli were to close in.
And it's picture-perfect rotation from J-Pow. If you pay attention to him, he's going forward. He sees that he's not going to win out that challenge or even get a piece of the ball. So what does he do? He doesn't rotate back. He goes for that corner boost and then infiltrates the goalkeeper. This player, instead of playing passive, he goes forward, does all he can in his rotation, takes the boost, takes out a defender, and then opens up a shooting lane. Stromboli, I have been impressed so far this entire series with them. They have shut out a lot of opportunities from Charlotte.
What's been very impressive to me is that that player has always been able to not only play the ball into a very awkward spot for the defense to work with, but do it in a way that doesn't inconvenience them. So they can just immediately recover and start aiming for the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
With a minute left, Charlotte Phoenix have got all the work to do. This might be a good opportunity to do it. Dapper went for the shot, and there was going to be a demo attempt, but I ended up just jumping out of the way. I didn't quite believe that the first jump was good enough, but I tell you what, that shot was more than good enough.
What an angle, and it's still the corners. These guys, anytime they get in the corner, they have got a game plan set. No, we just saw the previous goal where we saw J-Pow infiltrate the corner, take the boost, then go for the goalkeeper, and then now we see Alraz do the exact same thing. These guys have a play style, they have a plan set to go for once they can get that ball in the corner, and it's working wonders. Charlotte Phoenix can't counter this right now. The only thing they can do is try to break out of their own half, maybe go for some demos, but so far it is looking like too big of an obstacle.
Their opponents have just been too quick for them all series long.
Yeah.
And in a position now where they can just afford to leave 2 players back at all moments. The other side for Charlotte Phoenix, they do not have that luxury anymore. They have got to send the house. And even that might not be enough to break down the defense. That is still searching for goal after goal. That is the goal that should secure it. Stromboli have dominated this series.
It's just not enough from Charlotte Phoenix. We saw some good looks here and there, but Stromboli, they are so determined right now to go up into the losers finals, face off against Omelette for a spot in Group A against NRG Esports. Everything was on the line for Charlotte Phoenix. They had a couple of chances, but they couldn't pull through.
And what a performance it has been. So quick, so decisive. Stromboli have moved on, and they've done it in 3-0 against Charlotte Phoenix.
And it hadn't even dawned on me that this really was a 3-0. I didn't even, I knew it was a 3-0, but then I'm thinking to myself, with, how close these individual games were, I thought Charlotte Phoenix were really keeping these matches in the scoreline at least to a point where they had a chance of getting some wins under their belt. But no, Stromboli, time and time again, they were there to knock them down. Even whenever I think Charlotte Phoenix had the lead maybe one time, they were just too dominant.
Yeah, and I feel like if you were to make like a cut of every single goal that Stromboli scored in this last game, a lot of them would look very similar in terms of create an awkward play, wait for the touch for Charlotte Phoenix, and then take advantage of that touch, because the touches were not going anywhere. They were just popping the ball anywhere that wasn't at their own net. And you can see from where Stromboli were positioned, they were so quick to capitalize on the loose ball, take shots, and punish Charlotte Phoenix for not really having a defensive plan.
Yeah. And almost all of those were in the corner, which is what I'm talking about when I say you can do so much with your rotation even if you're not hitting the ball. And we saw that from J-Pow and Alraz, where they'd go into the corner, maybe they wouldn't even get the 50. They just take the boost and then go for a demo. If they don't get that, they have all the boost to rotate back and not even miss a beat. So all these guys had a game plan. If they're going to be going up against Omelette, I can see them taking this victory really easily and qualifying, so long as Omelette doesn't have a way to deal with a lot of that damage that's being done in the corners.
I do get the feeling that Omelette will do a stronger job of controlling the midfield, because that's where it came down to. Charlotte Phoenix were giving up the midfield far too easily for my liking. If we had a live graph of just how many times those middle 100 boosts were stolen, I think it would be in like 70% going over to the lads over on Stromboli. But they are going to be moving on to the next round. And when we come back from a break, we are going to be filling in our 8th and final spot for the BTS Summer Shuffle. It is going to be Omelette against Stromboli. We're going to see who gets it.